Hey guys, this is Pyro and in this video I'm going to tell you about my thoughts and opinions on Halo 5 Guardians so far. Halo 5 has been out for a month now. I was in China for 10 days just after the release, so I've had to catch up before I could really give my thoughts on the game. I don't want to come across too negatively, however you need to remember I'm analysing the game purely from a competitive point of view. There's a lot of potential here for an amazing game, however there's also quite a lot of things holding the game back, so that's what I'm going to focus on as I want Halo 5 to be the best game it can be. So let's start off from the top and go through the things I immediately noticed once I had installed the game. I'm not really happy with the user interface. I think Bungie had perfected the UI in Halo Reach and were missing quite a few options that previous Halos had, such as closed game lobbies, max player counts, and others. I wish I could just see my friends list at a glance without having to go through sub-menus, and I also can't see which of my friends are partied together and if they're currently in a game and how long it has remaining. This is really annoying since I don't know whether I should start searching for a game by myself or if I should wait for them to finish what they're currently doing. I'm also disappointed with the control options. We only have basic 1 to 10 sensitivity options and no custom button mapping. While it's true the Xbox One dashboard now supports button mapping and the new Elite controller is out, I think having it customized in the actual game is really important and allows you to do such things as unmap certain actions which you just can't do with a generic option on the dashboard. Apparently 343 is going to release an update in December which will address some controller issues, but until we see it I'm not sure what to expect. It's really a no-brainer to give the player the freedom to customize their controls in a competitive game, and having a list of preset options just doesn't cut it. So what about the matchmaking experience? Well, for the most part it's pretty good, but when it doesn't work, it really doesn't work. I still haven't been able to finish my placement matches for the free-for-all playlist because I can never find games, no matter what time I try. For the time being, I've given up. I understand free-for-all may not be the most popular playlist, especially in my region, but I think the inability to find a game so soon after launch is quite pathetic. Obviously there needs to be some adjustments made so that players can find each other more easily in matchmaking. I know some players rank highly that struggle to find games in any playlist and resort to playing customs or Warzone. Again, this is just an embarrassing issue for a game to have not even a month after launch. Something needs to be done urgently or players are going to move on to other games. The dedicated servers haven't impressed me so far. I'm constantly having huge lag spikes that sometimes last for a minute at a time, and I've seen many other players reporting similar issues. All my other games work perfectly, and I'm doing diagnostics during the lag spikes and getting a ping of 9 milliseconds to Google and 0 packet loss. These lag spikes always seem to happen at the worst possible times, and it's cost me several nail-biting games so far. It's incredibly frustrating to mount an epic comeback in a game only to lose during the last minute thanks to lag, and this is another issue that will cause players to simply move on to another game if it's not urgently fixed. A lack of a region filtering option is also incredibly frustrating, especially for those of us outside North America. 343 did previously state the option would be included in the game, however it's missing from the final release. I understand 343 wants to ensure we find matches quickly, however if I'm playing seriously, I'd rather wait 10 minutes for a game than play on North American host, which is basically a guaranteed loss 9 times out of 10. Give the power to the player to decide. If I'm playing free-for-all or Warzone where I don't really care too much about winning or it takes too long to find games, I'll happily play on higher latency. If I'm playing Slayer or Arena, I'd much prefer to only match up with players in my region to ensure a fair playing field. I'm pretty disappointed with the map selection. The arena maps are pretty good for the most part, although nothing really stands out to me as an instant classic like Midship or Sanctuary. For the most part, the maps use quite a similar layout and similar themes, and it doesn't help that we have 2 maps that are remixes. My biggest complaint with the maps, however, is the way 343 has falsely advertised their map count. If you look at the map list for custom games, as of this video, you'll see 19 maps listed under 343 Industries. However, if you take a closer look, you'll see that 11 out of these 19 maps are just Forge variants under 3 different Forge themes. Unlike previous Halos where Forge maps have been grouped together, in Halo 5 the maps are listed separately. Really, we only have 8 original maps if you don't count the Forged maps, plus 3 Warzone maps which we can't use for custom games. Considering that Eden and Empire share many assets, as well as Truth and Regret sharing assets, this is quite a pathetic map offering in my opinion. I have no issue with maps sharing assets if they play differently, however I definitely have an issue with maps sharing assets when we're getting less content instead of more. We don't get any real big team battle maps, they're all just forged. I know that Forge in Halo 5 is supposed to be better than previous Halos, but it's still Forge, and Forge maps aren't a replacement for real content. This really just seems like laziness on 343's part. Getting well known forges from the community to do their work for them, and act like they're being generous giving us free DLC when we've always been getting forge maps for free. We have no terminal, no sidewinder, no waterworks, and no Zanzibar, just forge maps featuring very plain textures and none of the cool gimmicks such as the windmill on Zanzibar or the train on terminal. Speaking of the maps, I can't mention them without talking about the absurd lighting in this game. I, as well as many others, complained about the lighting in the maps during the beta, to which 343 responded and said they would be toning it down. I don't know about you guys, but after playing Halo 5, especially the new big team battle maps, I feel like my retinas are being fried. The lighting in this game is cranked all the way to 11. Small lights give off more lumens than the sun, and for some reason even the grass reflects light into your eyes as if all the blades of grass were just tiny mirrors. The lights are just too strong, the bloom is overwhelming, and the amount of glare is absurd. I feel like every single light source in this game should be reduced by 50% so I can play the game without feeling the need to wear sunglasses. Warzone itself is pretty cool and it's a nice change of pace when I just want to chill out. I'd like to see more points earned for killing enemy players though, since I think it's a little bit ridiculous when I have the most kills on my team, yet I'm at the bottom of the score chart. If it wasn't for me getting kills, my teammates wouldn't be able to complete objectives, so I feel like my contribution to the team shouldn't go unnoticed. I've enjoyed earning and unlocking rec packs so far, and as long as 343 doesn't get greedy with the microtransactions, I think it's a good system. One thing I don't like though was the fact that many emblems were locked away, which means many players have the same emblem. Considering customizing our emblems has been standard since Halo 2, I feel like emblems shouldn't have been part of the rec packs, or at least all the old emblems from previous games should have been made available from the start so that players that used to use a certain emblem could carry on using it. So with all that out of the way, here's my two biggest concerns with Halo 5 Guardians so far. The first one is weapon balance. Halo 5 has some of the fastest kill times since the original Halo. The problem is, the weapons with the fastest kill times are the automatic weapons that require very little skill to use, while the weapons with the higher kill times are the precision weapons that require a lot more skill, without compensating the player for the risk involved in using them. In a battle between two equally skilled players, one with an assault rifle and the other with a pistol, if the player using the pistol misses a single shot, they'll most likely die. Even if the player using the pistol does get the kill, it often leaves them with a slither of health remaining, meaning they're an easy cleanup for another player. It's quite ironic that the Halo 5 pistol is one of the hardest weapons to use in the history of Halo, yet it's outclassed by nearly every other weapon in the game. The SMG and the Storm Rifle kill so fast you barely have time to react, despite the huge firing cone and auto-aim of these weapons. The automatic weapons also gain a hidden advantage over the precision weapons due to the new movement mechanics. It's too easy for players to escape unfavourable confrontations due to thrust and sprint. A player wielding an automatic can just thrust behind a corner to safety thanks to the longer kill times of the rifles. If the player wielding the rifle dares challenge them, the player with the automatic will mow them down in a split second. I feel like every automatic weapon in this game needs a nerf, and every precision weapon needs a slight buff. I don't want to see automatics completely useless, however a skilled player with a Magnum should nearly always beat an opponent with an AR. My other issue with all the weapons is auto-aim. All across the board, even on the pistol, the auto-aim is too high. The biggest offenders, however, are probably the rifles given their range. While the pistol may kill faster than the rifles, the fact that the rifles are easier to use means the rifles will win an exchange most of the time, simply because they'll land most of their shots due to auto-aim. This should never happen. The weapons should reward player skill, not the player using the weapon with the most forgiving auto-aim. The sniper rifle is also probably the easiest sniper to use in Halo history, with a huge amount of auto-aim, making even the worst players look like MLG champions. Many players in the competitive community are convinced that the pistol is a great starting weapon, however they're blind to its flaws. The pistol is unable to keep the sniper rifle in check, and it's outclassed by all the rifles. On a map like Sanctuary, a pistol would be next to useless. For this reason, I'd much prefer to see BR or DMR as a starting weapon, but with reduced auto-aim to keep the skill cap high. I'd much rather see the pistol as a sidearm for when players run out of ammo for their primary weapon. My other huge issue of the game is the aiming system. It is awful. This game is a huge surprise to me, since I specifically mentioned in my beta review video that I liked the aiming and that it felt tight. It's as if 343 watched the video and made the aiming worse just to spite me. It may even be worse than Halo 3. I don't know whether to be mad or just impressed. The aim acceleration kicks in too soon, and the curve is far too steep. It's not a gradual change like it was in Halo 1. 1 minute you're turning slowly, and the next you've done a 180 and completely overshot your target. The game also doesn't feel as responsive as Halo 1. I'm not sure if it's just a placebo or if it's an added input delay due to VSync or something else, but I'm pretty sure it's there. An option for aim acceleration levels is an absolute must. I can still play okay, however I feel like I'm constantly fighting against my controller, and it would play much better if the aiming was similar similar to Halo 1. At the moment, I feel like I'm playing a beta. The game seems polished for the most part, however it's lacking in content. We're still waiting for Forge, and we have none of the classic game modes such as King of the Hill, Oddball, and Assault. Instead, we've been given new game modes that no one ever asked for. Outside of Warzone, we have no real big team battle maps, and the game is lacking in many social features. That's all for now. I'll be going through some of the topics in this video in more detail in the near future, and I'll also be addressing other issues. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you'd like to see more, please don't forget to like and subscribe. You can check me out on Twitter, and I've also got a website, pyrotech.com, where I basically talk about esports and game design and things like that. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this, and thank you for watching. Cheers.